Hey everyone, this is Sally with Montracast, and I am so excited to be talking today to Dr. Susan Fox. She is a doctor of acupuncture and Oriental medicine, and she is the founder of Health University. Hey Susan, how's it going?
Hi, Sally. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited about this conversation,
Me too.
and so that everyone can listen and hear a lot more about Health University. So,
Yes,
first and foremost, you're an acupuncturist and a doctor of Chinese medicine.
correct.
Um, but you've created Health University, and I would love it if you would give us a little synopsis about how
Sure.
you came to this and what Health University is.
Absolutely. So I've been in private practice for 23, 24 years now, and it came to be very clear that the need is far greater than those who can enter into my private practice. And so I designed the Your Fertile Health course at Health University for the person who is either considering IVF, considering egg freezing, or trying to conceive naturally and is having some difficulty. And this is a way in which someone can do in the comfort of your own home acupoint stimulation, which is, they refer to it as TEAS, transcutaneous electrical acupoint stimulation, which, and I love saying this, the results have been shown, the protocols have been shown to increase live birth rate by 42% in women over 35 undergoing frozen embryo transfer. So you know that that's already a cohort who's been struggling. Here they are over 35, considered diminished ovarian reserve at best, and then already undergoing IVF, and this is their frozen embryo transfer. So to increase chances to that degree, it just makes my heart sing because it's a challenging time for for women and couples, people going through this. And if we can just give them any agency over their outcome, improved outcome, that just it warms the cockles of my heart.
Okay, 42%
Yeah.
sounds almost unreal,
It
right?
does sound
Such.
unreal. And this was a cohort of more than 3,000. It was a meta-analysis of more than 3,000 people. So this wasn't just a, 15-person study that someone, kind of skewed the numbers. It was, many studies put together. So this is the real deal.
That is so impressive.
Thank
So,
you.
when would someone need to start your program? It
Yeah,
sounds like the
that's
study was done when they're already in this. So, when would,
exactly. Exactly. Thank you for asking that question. Because if I ruled the world around this conversation, it would be please come in before you're thinking of trying to conceive, because there's much you can do now to improve your whole health, your metabolic health, and your reproductive health. And if you wait, then the sort of the progress of toxic load is going to be a greater impediment down the road. So we can make real important interventions, lifestyle interventions now. So again, if you're between 28 and 32 and you think you want to have a baby one day, let's get started. And if you're already on the rail, if you will, trying to conceive now and struggling, let's get started. There is a 120-day time frame called folliculogenesis, from which the egg leaves its primordial pool to that when that egg is going to ovulate from the follicle. That's a 120-day time span. So that's kind of like almost the minimum that in order to have the best influence on this egg. And again, that being said, as we know, we are the subject, if you will, of our own lifestyle and nutrition and supplementation and hydration. So getting started now, even if your appointment is next week, it will, it's all going to be helpful. It's just degrees of help that we can give.
I think that's such an important topic to discuss
Thank you.
because,
Yeah.
and it's a lot more common now because we were always taught just don't get pregnant. That was
Yeah.
the message, right? Don't get
That
pregnant,
was
get
our
on birth
sex
control
education.
pills.
Exactly.
Exactly. And then if you have any cramps or anything, get on birth control. So there's a lot of underlying issues that maybe have not been resolved. And as we know, people are achieving pregnancy later in life,
Hmm.
which is fantastic.
Hmm. Hmm.
But we are just starting to uncover that we actually need to focus on preconception.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the statistics are now that 1 in 5 people will struggle with their fertility. And they refer to it, as infertility, whereas I prefer to call it subfertility. The actual numbers that are of people who are truly infertile, that there would be a structural impediment or something that is really going to create an infertility, picture is not that high. A lot of it, even diagnoses like PCOS, endometriosis, even diminished ovarian reserve, can be, I don't want to say reversed necessarily, but they can be improved upon. That will improve your outcomes, whether you're trying to conceive naturally or going to go through an advanced reproductive therapy like egg freezing or IUI or IVF.
I think that's another important component. Most people talk about this in a dichotomy, fertility, infertility, right?
Right,
Able to achieve pregnancy, unable to achieve pregnancy.
right.
But we haven't heard enough of the conversation of improving the quality of pregnancy
Exactly.
and improving the outcomes.
Exactly.
So whether or not you even know if you're going to have difficulty achieving pregnancy, I would imagine this would be beneficial.
Absolutely. And here, as I mentioned, off screen, I get a little bit of an activist, in me, in that your viewers want to not only get pregnant, they want to have a healthy pregnancy. They want to have a healthy postpartum experience. They want to raise healthy children and healthy community, healthy future, leaders. That all starts now with the health of your whole body, which is influencing and reflected in the health of your eggs as they're being recruited each month.
Yes, I
Mhm.
love this conversation. I
Yeah,
love talking about preconception. I love talking about the benefits of making yourself the healthiest possible before
yeah, yeah,
conceiving. Can you
yeah.
tell us when people come to see you most often? How often
Mhm.
they are
Regrettably,
coming?
regrettably, it's been behind the eight ball. They've either, been trying for a long period of time, or they've had, failed IVFs, and they're, trying to, get their one last embryo to transfer. They're looking for the miracle, and thankfully, many get it. But on my website, you'll see lots of testimonials of people who were told, "So sorry, your only course is a donor egg." Your ovarian reserve is too low, or you've got this one last frozen embryo, but let's not get our hopes up too high. And then they're falling pregnant, and they are having a healthy pregnancy because they're continuing to with the lifestyle changes that are part of my course. I mean, the protocols do end when you're pregnant, because you don't want to put stimulation to your uterus when there's a baby growing in there. But the lifestyle, the supplements, the nutrition, the hydration, the circulation, the proper sleep-wake cycles, they need to continue forever.
I love that. So tell
Yeah.
us what's in your program. I want to hear a
Okay.
little bit about, I know you've been talking about the stimulation, the acupressure points,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
but you've just mentioned sleep and different
Hmm.
issues. So outline what
Exactly.
goes
Well,
in.
we touch upon like what I call the 4 pillars of whole health and fertile health. So nutrition, we have a whole guide there for what to eat at different times of your cycle. And it's not so specific that that you're going to be, seed cycling or anything like that, but it gives you some guidelines, and it certainly gives you some things to stay away from, like processed foods, the things we know, sugar, alcohol, all of those things. And then it also includes a mind-body component set of modules, where it's guided imagery with binaural beats behind to really shift the mind from its stress response, because it is very stressful experience to be struggling with fertility, to a parasympathetic, and I can do this kind of mindset, and we know that changes everything. We know that changes hormones and neurotransmitters and all of that. So it's 5 modules for the 5 phases of the 4 weeks of a menstrual cycle that someone would listen to. We also have Tai Chi, no, pardon me, Qigong exercises for the 5 phases of the 4 weeks of the menstrual cycle. And then we've got instruction on how to use this transcutaneous electrical acupoint stimulation device. There are 4 protocols that are alternated, and we provide the device as well, so that you can really increase your blood flow. It's all about nutrition and hydration for proper healthy blood, and then circulation, targeted circulation to ovaries and uterus for proper blood flow to your ovaries and uterus. Because if those organs are not getting their good nutrition and not getting their circulation, then they're not going to be producing healthy eggs. And then, yes, we talk about other lifestyle things like what are you putting, not only on your body, in your body, but on your body. What are you brushing your teeth with, washing your hair with, using for your makeup? What kind of, how are you cleaning your home? What kind of bedding are you sleeping on? Is it petroleum based, that wrinkle resistant petroleum based, where you're breathing chemicals, toxic chemicals that all night long that are going to interfere with your own ability to have proper hormonal signaling.
It sounds like you've thought of everything, but even as you're telling me this, I'm not feeling overwhelmed, like you're giving me too much.
Thank you. That is my goal. This is really doable. The protocols can feel a little odd at first, we have them in diagram and we have them on a live model. So it really is step by step, easy to follow. And yes, it is not overwhelming. I'm not, kind of asking you to lay down your life for a period of time. I'm just asking you to, kind of incorporate some of these healthy changes so that you can have a whole new lifestyle that you're bringing this baby into.
And these healthy lifestyle habits are not just for achieving pregnancy. Obviously, they're
Exactly.
going to carry on.
Exactly. There's a study done up here in the Novato area. It's called the Buck Institute for Aging. And Jennifer Garrison was the lead investigator on it, Dr. Garrison. And she was actually just recently on the New York Times because, longevity medicine, the other side, the few more steps across the bridge of hormonal health, there we are in perimenopause, menopause. And she learned or discovered that, our ovaries talk to every single organ in our body long after baby making time is done. So we want to be helping them before it's baby making time. We want to certainly be helping them when it's go time, but then we want to be helping them afterwards because they are not only for producing an egg that is going to possibly become a baby, they're very important organs.
I I'm blown away with how simple a concept this is, but how
Exactly.
forgotten all of this information
Exactly.
is.
I mentioned, off camera that this same woman who is, thinking about like it's time for me to have a baby, what do I do? I'm struggling a little bit. She is one step away from perimenopause as well. And so I'm designing also the pre-perimenopause plan at Health University so that this person can, there's definitely different things that we're doing when we're trying to conceive and then when we're trying to get ready for a healthy and happy perimenopause. But during that phase of the pre-perimenopause plan is when we really want to be paying attention to our metabolic health because that is sort of our gut is the ground zero for our whole health. And if we're having blood sugar dysregulation, and if we're having, heightened cortisol, then it's going to absolutely inevitably interfere with our hormonal communication such that we will struggle in perimenopause time. And I mentioned that, we talked about that this woman feels already caught with her hormonal pants down because nobody told her that she needed to be concerned about her whole health and that it's a reflective of her hormonal health. She does not want to wait for that next shoe to drop. She's watching her older sisters, if you will, or older sister influencers out there talking about how they're struggling and that the remedy for them is bio HRT, which is fine. And I mean, I'm a big proponent of bio HRT, but there's much we can do to prolong the health of our ovaries before we have to go into replacing what they can produce.
And really, what you're doing is balancing hormones at every stage and also teaching everyone how
Absolutely.
to.
And it's through Chinese medicine speak, which ironically it can be very poetic and esoteric, but it really resonates. When we talk about, that we're made of those five elements, we are made of air. We breathe it. We are made of water. We're mostly water. We're made of wood because that is actually the creative process. We're made of fire, that's, our heart pumping and all of that. And we're made of earth. That's our ability to digest, eliminate, and be efficient that way. When we speak through that conversation of the five elements of Chinese medicine, it makes it easier to understand. Then we're not talking about diagnoses, conventional diagnoses, because how do you deal with someone saying, well, you have polycystic ovarian syndrome? What do you do about that? Whereas if someone were to say, you know what, you've got what we consider to be an accumulation of dampness, so let's do what we can to warm and clean up that dampness. Like that feels natural, and it is natural. And then we're not just band-aiding a diagnosis.
It's like a plant, right? You
Exactly.
when you have a plant, if the leaves are turning brown, maybe there's not enough water. You're
Yes.
always looking at what this particular plant needs
Yep.
and how to create the proper environment for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. We are made of the same stuff. We are carbon beings and we need to nourish our own soil. And unfortunately, our modern lifestyle has really kind of gone sideways in that we're, eating on the run, eating processed foods, drinking, from BPA riddled cans and so forth. And these subtle minor changes can make a profound difference.
I love what you're doing. I love that you're educating people, but putting it in a way that's very simple and easy to digest.
Right.
Because even just talking to you, I mean, the profound effects, 42% is
Yeah.
wild, right? That's
Right.
amazing. But
Right.
also when you're speaking, it just sounds logical. Like,
Yeah.
oh, of course,
We
there's
can do this.
tweaks to the environment that we need.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. Tweaks to our own environment. We can do this. There's nothing impossible about these protocols, about this program. And that's why I named the whole program Health University, and I spell university YOU because education is our empowerment. We can't unknow what we know. We can make whatever choices we want to make based upon that, but we can't be ignorant once we know something.
That's true. That's such a
Hmm.
great point. So
Hmm.
people can access your program in the comfort of their own home
Yes.
throughout the US, anywhere
Absolutely.
in the
Throughout the
world.
US. Yes, I'm not available, internationally yet. Probably I could get it across Canada.
Okay,
That would be an easy exchange, but it's just a processing issue that I need to figure out.
sure.
And there are plenty of people in the US who need this. And so I would say, listeners, viewers, you know someone. If it's not yourself, again, 1 in 5 are struggling. So please share this podcast with as many people as you know and love. Share it with your if you're working in an office, a business that is offering fertility benefits, share this with that fertility benefits specialist because if you could reduce your IVF from three at a total of 90,000 in the Bay Area to one, I mean, that's a huge savings of time, resources, energy. That person's going to be able to be working a productive worker, much better than if she's running from appointment to appointment to appointment.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
yeah,
think we don't talk about that enough.
exactly.
Also, that's a whole
Exactly.
other topic for a whole
The
other
impact, the
podcast.
ripple effect just goes much farther than, what is happening in your 4 weeks of your menstrual cycle. It's your whole life is affected.
Absolutely. So tell
Yeah.
people how they can access this course and how
Excellent.
they can find you.
Excellent. So the website is healthuniversity.co, not .com. And again, Health University is spelled YOU, university.co. They can reach me, through that site. They can book an appointment to, schedule an assessment call to see is this right for them. Just a quick 10-minute call is really all we need. Um, and then on that website, there is a free quiz so that they can get a sense of the 5 element model. They'll answer just a few simple questions, and then they'll get a free report on, oh, well, your answers have you being more of a constitutional wood element person, and this is why, and this is what you can do. So they're really actionable items you can take straight away. But the course is the slice of heaven, if you will. I really, really think that this is it needs to get out there far and wide.
Absolutely. I fully agree. Thank you so much for your time today. This has been so
Oh,
informative. I always love talking to you, but this is,
likewise, Sally. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it and being given the forum to share with your audience.
of course, absolutely. And we're going to end our recording and thank you. I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.